Hello. I can't hear myself.
Wait, what?
I can't hear myself.
Oh, shit.
Oh, now. Oh, oh my God. Oh, that was really loud. Good morning, good afternoon, good night.
That's it, folks.
Thank you for tuning in. Wait, what do they say in the Truman Show?
If I don't see you, good afternoon and good evening and good night.
Good afternoon, good evening, good night.
Because he says good morning.
Oh, yeah.
And if I don't see you, good afternoon,
good evening,
and good night.
Yeah. You know what's funny? The way I just said that was so much like John. No, that's actually not how I wanted to kick that off. We were looking at more cats on the Humane Society website the other day just to see what was left, maybe get a number 2 cat. Not really. Not yet. This freeloader over here, I don't even know where he is now because he's an absolute nightmare.
Maniac.
No, I love him. But he's a maniac. Oh. So anyways, we were looking at cats on Humane Society website, and there was one named Gail, and she was so cute. And I go, Anders, look at Gail. And he goes, Gail? Like gay Y? And I was like, I'm sorry, what? And you were like Gail, like gay A-Y. And I was like, oh, you mean G-A-Y? We were in tears because you were so
must have been very high.
Out of your mind. Yeah, I think we both were out of our
everybody.
minds, but that was hilarious.
Gay A-Y.
Yeah, like Gail, like gay A-Y. Yeah, good times.
Oops.
That's where our brains were this weekend. I've been drinking a lot of Manhattans lately.
Yeah, you have.
I've been enjoying it. I forgot for a while how much I actually enjoyed whiskey. I was never really a whiskey person until, when Mad Men came out and everyone remembered they loved old fashions.
Or discovered.
That was the joke.
Oh,
like,
sorry.
who fucking drank old fashions before Don Draper?
That's exactly right.
Like, I was 21, 22 and was going to dinner and ordering old fashions. Like, I
will admit the same thing.
A 35-year-old man in, advertising.
In the 1950s.
Yeah.
It was called an old fashioned back then.
Yeah.
That's how old it is.
That's how old. Exactly. When was it just a fashion? It's dumb. No, and I drink a lot of Manhattans because I do like an old fashioned, but I feel like Manhattan is kind of swankier.
It's a little swankier. I would agree.
Yeah. But I forgot how much I enjoyed whiskey and remembered how much I disliked vodka. If I have one more vodka soda lime, it's not a good drink. Mm-hmm. It's not really refreshing. It's
really
just
no taste.
It's just low calories to get you fucked up.
Right.
And like at this age, I need something that tastes decent. And I also don't want to just like woof high noons. Okay. In like December. It's like,
well, that's vodka soda, so you're right.
Right. It's like a
December.
You know what I mean? Like a high noon, it's like that's good for the beach, like the lake, like when it's warm out, but I cannot drink like a watermelon high noon when it's snowing outside. It just is inappropriate to me.
They literally call them high noon sun sips.
Yeah, right.
Even when it's overcast and 20 degrees?
Yeah, no.
High noon, please.
Yeah, right. It just, I don't know. I started like realizing how much I didn't really enjoy those beverages. So I was like, what's my new go-to? I do love a gin and tonic. I do love a gin martini, but like a Manhattan, it really just hits right now. So been on a Manhattan kick lately. And I actually do prefer it with bourbon. It's typically done with rye. But we got some rye and have made them at home, and I'm like, I do prefer it with bourbon.
Bourbon's a little sweeter, I think.
It is a little bit sweeter. It's not that different from an old fashioned too. You know,
Yeah,
it's like
not.
one ingredient difference.
difference.
But yeah, I also recently tried to quit vaping, and by recently I meant 1 day ago. I did not make it a full 24 hours.
You get some beautiful artwork.
We do have some beautiful artwork. Would you like to show
I'll grab it.
Our viewers? So I knew that if I just threw the vapes in the garbage can, beautiful, right? This should be put in the MoMA. Yeah. Honestly, if I submitted that to the MoMA, I bet you that shit would fucking go in there.
You're right. It's so.
Did I just become an artiste?
Yeah, it's so prescient to our culture.
It is just vapes in the water. In a mason jar.
Right.
Yeah. So I
put some overnight oats in there too.
So I tried to quit vaping. I knew if I put it in the garbage can that I was going to fish it out at some point, probably, because that's where I'm at. And I was like, okay, what can I do? I could just drown them in water. So yeah, just dropped them in a mason jar, sent a picture to all my friends, and I was like, guys, this is it. I'm going to quit. And then I started working and responding to emails and realized this was not the time to quit, and that I needed that sweet, sweet nicotine in my veins.
It's sweet, whatever. What's that flavor?
Pink Burst.
Pink Burst?
Yeah, I asked what flavor it was. I was like, sir, what flavor is this? He was like, I think it's strawberry.
It's pink.
Yeah, he was like, I think it's pink. I like strawberry.
What flavor is this? Blue.
First of all, strawberries are red. So
strawberries are red.
I want to clarify. Isn't that interesting?
Well, I think it has to do with the white center of a strawberry. It's not as dark red as a cherry, so that's why cherry gets the red.
I guess, but it's still like
if you put a strawberry in a blender, it's going to be pink.
Okay. That's fair.
I'm reaching.
You're really trying to like advocate for like strawberry as pink.
I'm Starburst defense lawyer.
Yeah, right. That honestly might win in court. So yeah, right? I think it's just really interesting. Pink is it not the color of strawberries, but that's what any flavor is. Like you look at Jolly Ranchers, Starburst.
Mm-hmm. Ooh, pink and
jelly beans.
Pink and Jolly Ranchers is watermelon, I think. Which again is red.
You're right. Oh yeah. And green.
And green.
Also blue raspberry.
No such thing.
Not a thing.
Blueberry. There's a literal color berry.
Also doesn't taste like raspberry.
Yeah, well, I don't know.
But why is blue always like the best flavor though?
That's a great question.
I am freaked out by like colors and things. Like soda really freaks me out because all the coloring in it, and like even candy sometimes I'm like, oh my God, this like kind of creeps me out.
Why is blue, electric blue?
Blue, I'm just like, oh my God, I need you.
It's gonna be like sour.
I'm gonna just
mainline it. Yeah. Just that vein ready.
Mainline some blue raspberry anything.
Just that slush puppy syrup.
Oh God, I miss ices. Whenever I go to the movies, I'm like, see, I don't fuck with soda, but I could fuck with an icy.
Yeah. It's funny because it's the same thing.
It's
just
the
with
same.
Ice.
It's like syrup, soda syrup.
It's what I get in a cup, blended.
Correct. But it's like so nostalgic.
Yeah, it's a treat.
Yeah. And also, quick question. You know those straws that they give you?
Oh, with the...
Is it a spoon on the end? I don't think it is.
It's not a spoon per se where you're supposed to scoop up and
What's
eat
it
out
for?
of it.
Is it for like is it for like being aerodynamic through the straw to get the slush through it?
Maybe for like clumps of ice or something. My thought is it just when you get a straight straw and you put it down at the bottom of the drink. There's nothing like touching the bottom, scooping anything up. And you get that with that.
Mm-hmm. Why aren't all straws like that?
That's a great question.
Honestly, fuck paper straws too.
A paper straw?
Fuck the turtles.
The dumbest.
I'm kidding.
Show me a turtle with a fucking
Show me
straw.
one. Show me one.
That you didn't Photoshop.
Show me one. Show me a dead turtle.
Show me a turtle with a plastic straw
in it. But really, though,
that's the least of the worries. The worries is
it is
mounds of plastic bags being shoved into the ocean.
How about
oil spills.
How about East Palestine?
That's not even on the ocean.
How about
Look at that.
How about those plastic straws?
I love how you said East Palestine.
Ohio.
No, I know. And of course, in Ohio they say Palestine.
Is it? Oh.
It's the armpit of America.
Yeah. Well, I mean,
sorry,
it is Ohio.
Exactly.
No offense.
But offense.
But no offense, but offense. That's like people. It's so crazy to think. I grew up in Marietta, 10 minutes away from Atlanta, and people who grew up in like Nebraska, why? Why were you there? Like, no, I know they didn't have a choice, but someone chose to be there and then had the kid.
That's true. Or someone chose not to leave.
What's there?
That's corn.
That's corn.
I cut myself off mid-sentence, but yeah.
Corn.
Corn's there.
Right. And like, I don't know. What's some other
Cows?
Yeah.
Chickens. I mean, farms. That's it.
I'm a city gal through and through. I could not. Whenever I drive like 30 minutes outside of the city limits, I'm like,
what are you doing out here?
This is too much.
There's nothing here.
There's like a Publix, but there's just no traffic.
There's miles of trees.
It's just trees.
What are you doing?
Yeah. It's like actually not even Publix. Maybe like in Ingalls. Yeah. Or like where's Buc-ee's?
That's a good question.
I've never been to
Mississippi.
How did Buc-ee's also blow up too? Why did it become this internet sensation? It's been around.
Because everybody has phones now. That's the only reason.
Because TikTok said so.
Because it's always existed and it's always been like that.
Right.
But now it's like a destination because people are like, look at this gas station. This is the most unbelievable thing I've ever seen.
Like
you thought Quick Trip was good.
Like the investment of Buc-ee's, yet teachers are like living in poverty. Uh-huh. I can't.
Where's the investment in schools?
Yeah. Don't even get me on that. I don't want to talk about that today, if we're being honest.
All right, let's move on then.
We're moving on. We're moving on. So I'm actually this was a funny start to the episode, but I'm gonna take it a little bit more serious today.
Oh.
You guys not super serious, but you guys liked the grief episode, and I was like, you know what? I'm gonna start talking about some things that have value, or at least I think have value. I'm reading in honor of Black History Month, I am reading a Bell Hooks book of essays, essentially. It's called All About Love, and it is part of one of her larger books. I can't remember which one, but anyways, it just talks about the relationship that humankind essentially has with love, and it's one of the only things that is nearly impossible to define. If you ask 5 different people in the same room what love is, they're going to probably all give you completely different definitions of it. And it just talks about how we have shimmied around the idea of love, and we're very scared of it as a society. And also it's so abstract, like we can't define it, but in reality, it is easy to define. And so she talks about all that and different types of love and how, where it starts from as a child and the injustices of love within family and childhood. Yeah, it's actually really fascinating. But
I bet coming from her, that makes sense.
Yeah. And so just like being a child, you really have no rights, essentially. And so parents and parental figures can really take advantage of children because they have no rights and justice.
And no experience to know better.
Exactly. And so why a lot of people struggle with why a lot of people have really deep-rooted issues with love comes a lot from how that was provided in their childhood.
Mm-hmm.
And so,
Totally.
you know, you have parents who abuse their kids physically or verbally or mentally, and they confuse that with love. Like it's tough love. Like your parents might give you a home and provide you shelter and food,
Right.
but they may reprimand you by beating you. But they
Right.
say,
love
it's
you.
out of love. And so,
I'm doing this because I love you.
yeah. And so as kids, as they grow up into humans and then they
That's-
get into relationships, abusive relationships can happen and are cyclical because there's this confusion that we have inherently from childhood with abuse being connected with love and abuse being
Right.
done out of love.
That's all they know.
Yeah. And so I'm only 20 according to Goodreads, 22% finished with the book.
Oh.
But so that was like the first kind of segment of it. So it's really fascinating, but
That's interesting.
something that stood out to me in the book, and I highlighted it because I feel like it's just prevalent in my life and in work life and personal life and just in life in general. She says, a good definition marks our starting point and lets us know where we want to end up. And I think that that's really relatable, at least to me, because if you're very clear in your intentions, like if you have a set goal in mind and a very clear idea of what that looks like, it helps us get to where we want to be a lot easier down the road. And that can be, you can, define that any way you want,
Sure.
whatever that means for you. But I found that extremely relevant in my work life, at least right now, and some things that are going on, all good things. But so it kind of gets me on this point of like, I feel like I have been able to define a lot of things in my life that I want to accomplish, I guess. And I've always been very self-disciplined. I have always been someone who has chosen something and stuck with it for a long period of time. And I think that started as a young child. Like I saw my parents, they were very self-disciplined. My dad, a first generation immigrant. And so I think even with that, I understand discipline in a very different way than maybe some people do. And so,
Like me.
well, I don't know, but,
Self-discipline is I'm not going to say it's a strength of mine.
well, yeah, but you have other
Self-awareness
strengths.
is.
Okay. That's fair.
Self-awareness is
That's
a
fair.
strength.
Yeah. But growing up as a professional dancer, I danced and was in a performing company and grew up taking classes and was trained by professionals for 13 years of my life. And that started I started dancing at age 3, but the company dancing started at like age 5. And so through all of that, like it's with people who start a sport really early and are disciplined in that and take that on through, all schooling and college and maybe out of that. But I found that I feel like that built a framework for how I viewed self-discipline and things in life. So growing up, I was a dancer. I would consider that almost like a career. I was basically a professional dancer, but I started at age 3, joined a performing company at age 5, and continued that on through, middle school, high school, and, did that for 13 years. And so, it's kind of similar to when you are an athlete and you start a sport at a very young age and you carry that all throughout school and then maybe college and beyond college. And there's a level of self-discipline that trickles into other aspects of your life. And I think that set a framework for how I function now as an adult. Like at a very young age, I knew how to pick something and stick with it. And again, I think it really trains your brain on mastering self-discipline and like mastering a specific practice. I know what it takes to become, I don't want to say the best at something because I wasn't nearly the best, but I knew
proficient.
I knew what type of dedication something like that required, and it created so much success, and they say, you put in the 10,000 hours and you become an expert in something or whatnot. And I can definitely speak to that. And so I've always been very consistent in what I dedicate myself to and what I have dedicated myself to throughout my life. For example, I chose dance, and then I actually chose to play the cello in middle school and high school, and I did that for 7 years. Was definitely dedicated to that.
Your first dedication, though.
My first dedication was dance, and that always came first. But I didn't pick an instrument and then try to go on to something else. Like I chose the cello, and then that was it. But I was very methodical in like how I would select something, and I think I always really put a lot of care into things that I was choosing to do and have chosen to do with my life. Like, for example, schooling too. Like I chose Georgia Southern and I stayed there all 4 years. Right. I chose one major and stuck with it for my entire time, which not a lot of people do, but I was very careful in how I did that. After college, my first job was where I'm at now, and I've been there for almost 9 years. And so I think there's something to that, and how how it runs its course in your life. And I think that it's really important to understand that type of discipline. You
pick something and you work your ass off at that one thing.
Right.
And you try to be the best you can at that one thing.
Right.
Yeah.
And I think it teaches you a lot, but I think there's also...
It's a good mindset to have.
Definitely. And I think it's important to be able to choose something and be methodical with it, but really sticking with it and not just quitting. And I know that this isn't like a newfound theory or anything, but it's just something that I've really come to be in tune with as I've gotten older of, wow, I really am super thoughtful in things that I am choosing to incorporate into my life, and how, it plays a role in my thought process of just everything that I do, So yeah. And go ahead.
Can I ask you a question?
Go ahead.
How do you feel about the phrase, like, jack of all trades, master of none? Because I feel like sometimes I'm like that. I'm like pretty good at everything, but I'm not a master at anything.
I don't hate that. And here I'll actually kind of
good. I'm glad you don't hate that.
No, I don't hate that. I'll actually kind of get into that because I don't know if anyone else ever feels like this, but there's so many things that I want to do, but I want to be good at. And I understand the type of practice and dedication that has to go into something to be very good at something. And I run into this like internal battle of, oh my God, I'm like running out of time. Like, how do I be good at all the things that I want to be good at? I know what it takes to actually become really good at something, unless you're like, Rain Man or something, like,
or unless you're like Eddie Van Halen.
Yeah.
Just
where you're just
a virtuoso instantly.
Exactly. And that's not the majority of people.
No, that's why they call them virtuosos.
At all. Yeah. And I just feel like I run out of time. Like, there's so much music to hear. There's so many instruments to learn and to play. There's so many books to read. There's so many cuisines and like dishes and restaurants to try.
Sure.
Like it's really overwhelming, I think, and I really struggle with it. And I don't know if anyone else feels that way, but it's just something that is always in the back of my mind. But to that, like, a good definition marks our starting point and lets us know where we want to end up. I feel like, it just is so relevant in my life right now that I couldn't not talk about it. But like also the like battle that comes with it of like, oh my gosh, yes, I have such a passion for this. I know what this looks like for me, and then like where it will lead me to where I want to end up. But I feel like time is against me.
Time's always against you.
Yeah, time is always against you. And that's not a great way to live, but
no, well,
maybe
it
is. I guess
because you're aware of your
right.
time on this temporary planet. Like,
yeah.
You need to get your shit done now.
Definitely.
You have a sense of urgency as opposed to some people who grow up just without a care in the world, and they don't realize that time will fuck them over.
Yeah. And I don't know, I take what I do in my life very seriously.
Yes, you do.
Like, I take every decision that I make very seriously. I
applaud you for that.
I don't take it lightly, and I don't know if that started. It didn't start when my dad passed, but I think it's really become heightened. That sense of urgency. I like how you said that. Mm-hmm. Has really become heightened as I've gotten older and as I've experienced that type of grief. So, anyways, just wanted to share that with you guys. I thought it was a good sentiment that I hadn't heard phrased in that way. And go Bell Hooks. All right.
That weirdly sounds like a college.
Kind of.
Go Bell Hooks.
R.I.P. as well.
R.I.P.
Yeah. And you know what's so fucked up too, kind of?
What's that?
So I mentioned, like, I was in orchestra and I played the cello for 7 years. And my friends would absolutely slam me for this and like bully the shit out of me.
That's high school, isn't it?
It is high school, but it's like now that I'm older, people think that's cool now. And it is cool. And it always was cool. But it my friends would always make
Oh my God. It's a stink bug.
Oh my God.
A stink bug.
Well, I couldn't see it. All I just saw was where the fuck did that go?
You saw my eyes widen.
Hilton,
like, what?
Why didn't you just eat that off of my shoulder, you fucker? What are you good for, you little freeloader? So yeah, my friends would like just slam me for being in orchestra and playing cello. And it's so weird that we do that and did that as kids.
Well, it's especially interesting because usually you get made fun of for being in the marching band.
Totally.
And you weren't in the marching band.
No, I was in orchestra.
And the people making fun of you were probably in choir or chorus or whatever the fuck.
They were all over the place. Like, some had those electives, like some didn't. Like, it was kind of all. But yeah, I'm like, who are you to make fun of me?
Yeah, I'm good at an instrument. What are you doing?
Yeah. I really want to pick that back up, and
you should.
And I want to rent a cello.
Let's rent a cello.
Yeah,
we could jam, kind of.
Should we do a like a live Instagram concert?
Yeah.
My mom would join. That's
of course she would.
Actually, not even, because I don't think she knows how to work Instagram Live.
All she's got to do is tap.
Correct. That's all. But you never know.
We'd have to practice.
Yeah,
I'm not just getting on there.
Yeah, but I really want to bring back the cello. I think it's badass. And
cello,
to my bullies, middle fingers up.
There you go.
Okay, so I do want to get into the list of the week. again, as hopefully you all saw, I posted another question poll thingy on my Instagram, and I asked, what is your death row meal? And I got some very interesting answers that I would like to share with everyone.
I love this. Yes.
Death row meal. I talked about this being the name of my memoir, like the road to identifying my death row meal. I mean, I know what mine is, and it is a fettuccine Alfredo.
Fettuccine Alfredo.
And like from from an alcohol like give me a fettuccine Alfredo, give me a J, and give me a nice
Nebbiolo.
A nice Brunello.
Oh.
Yeah.
What is that? Nicer?
Yes. It's an Italian red. That's delish. But
you're just very down to the type of wine you want. Like,
yeah. You got to be specific.
You don't have to be.
If I'm dying, I'm being specific.
That's you, right?
Right.
Do you know what you want to know what mine is?
I would love to know what yours is.
Give me a medium rare steak.
I knew it.
Twice baked potatoes and buttery, salty, garlicky asparagus. Asparagus.
Okay. Beautiful.
Although it's hard for me not to say chicken wings.
Yeah.
Give them both. Give me a cheesesteak. Give me pizza. Give me.
Okay. We're just gonna name every kind of cuisine.
Okay. I feel like it's really hard for me to pick one meal that I like. I want a meal flight.
You want a buffet?
Yeah. Well, buffet for me.
Correct.
I want a
buffet nonetheless.
Well, yeah.
Yeah.
No one else gets to eat it. It's not really a buffet, right?
Buffets are so disgusting. Imagine if someone said their death row meal was like
a Chinese buffet.
No. Like a plate from Golden Corral.
Or Piccadilly Cafeteria.
Disgusting. If I'm going to a place with the name cafeteria in it, no shot. No shot.
Just die now.
I would correct. Okay, so let me go through some of these. Molly K. Webb. She says, unlimited Chili's, chips, and salsa.
She is a Chili's fanatic. It's weird.
Sorry, Molly.
That's weird.
Molly.
It's Chili's.
It's Chili's, but it's just chips and salsa.
There's better chips and salsa.
That's your death row meal? Your meal is Chili's, chips, and salsa. Oh my God. I have a lot of follow-up questions for you.
Shout out Molly Webb.
We'll shoot you a text after this. Okay. Hill tapped here. She says, probably watermelon. Exclamation.
Again.
Also, not a meal.
Not a meal.
Love watermelon. Not a meal. That's what you want to eat right before you're going to die?
Maybe like after a meal.
Yeah, a palate cleanse.
Yeah.
And then death.
A
palate cleanse.
Give me watermelon, then give me
for death. Yeah. Okay. Number 3. This comes from Greg Ben Rice.
Bunch of underscores in there.
Yep. He says, see, this is the specificity I'm looking for here.
All right.
Banh mi, spring rolls, and an avocado smoothie from Lee's. And I honestly...
What's Lee's?
I think it's called Lee's Bakery. I think that's like a actual thing.
Is that a Denver thing?
No, I don't think so. Or maybe it is. No, I think it's here in Atlanta because I've heard of it. That's the specifics I'm looking for. And also, it's a meal.
It's true.
That makes sense together.
Props, Greg.
Honestly, the first time I'll ever tell you this, good job, Greg.
If you know. IYK.
IYK. Okay. Next, this comes from Alex McDrigas. That's your friend.
Mick Rodriguez. Well, it's McGuire, but his mom's maiden name's Rodriguez. So
I see.
He's being very woke about it.
So woke. So
Love you, Alex.
He says,
Youth XL, by the way, go check out his band. Very good.
Go check out his band. We don't do free plugs on here though, so pay up, Alex. Okay. He says, well, he has some grammatical errors here. Well done. So he meant well done.
I think he's doing a southern accent on purpose.
Probably not. Well done, saucy buffalo wings with blue cheese and carrots and celery and a beer, please. I also like this answer. Very specific.
I like the manners.
Good manners. I would have
Especially
preferred
for someone on death row.
I would have preferred if you gave me like a location from where these wings were coming from and like the actual type of beer.
I would imagine since he's from Connecticut, New York area, it's probably going to be like buffalo wings.
Oh.
He's not from Buffalo. He's never, I don't know if he's been to Buffalo. I'm not going to speak for him, but
okay.
New Yorkers, they have a whole complex about their wings. They don't believe that anywhere else has as good food as they do. On any cuisine.
Correct.
So like I would always tell my friends from the Northeast area about how good Southern cooking was and how good Southern wings were. And no one really believed me until they came and visited me.
And then they were like,
oh shit, these wings are fucking good.
Yeah. The South.
Atlanta. Wings. Yeah.
Yeah. The North. Get out of here.
Buffalo wings.
Yeah.
That's where it comes from.
I see. Yeah. Okay. And lastly, Grace.McGoldrick, she says, which is the most chaotic answer that I have seen on here. Pizza topped with sourdough, mozzarella sticks, and an Auntie Anne's pretzel because she's gluten-free. So she wants all the gluten.
So she wants all things that will kill her.
She wants just like the triple threat
she wants
gluten nightmare.
Death by food.
Yeah. Hey, honestly, that's fair.
Yeah.
That would check out for her because she is like the master of cooking. A chaotic answer though. I don't really know. I don't know how I would feel about how that would taste. But it is all bread.
It's a lot of bread.
Bread and cheese and some cinnamon.
If you haven't been able to have that your whole life or for a lot of your life, then I get it.
Causes you pain.
But you're about to die, so who cares?
Exactly. I feel that. Well, guys, this is going to wrap up episode 34. Thank you for tuning in.
Tuning in.
I just glitched. I haven't glitched in a while like that.
It's usually me that glitches.
Yeah. Thank you for tuning in. This was a roller coaster of an episode. We really went a lot of different directions here. I don't know what I'm going to title this, so good luck to me later trying to come up with a name. But again, thank you guys for tuning in, listening, share with all your friends, rate, review. Let me know how you like the YouTube. Watch on YouTube as well, by the way. The YouTube channel is Scream of Consciousness.
I don't do this for nothing.
Yeah. We don't do this for nothing. And by nothing, I mean, we actually don't monetize this. So it is actually for nothing.
We do it for nothing.
We actually do it for nothing. So,
but if you watch, then it's something.
But if you watch and enjoy it, then it brings fluffies to my heart.
Oh, boy.
All right. Love ya. See you next week. Ya hookers.